Welcome to the 392nd Army Band Holiday Concert, The Nutcracker. Before we begin, we would like to let you know that this show uses special effects, including flashing lights, loud noises, and fog. The 392nd Army Band has long been comprised of several small musical groups which combined into a 40-piece concert band. As many of you know, our farewell concert in June of this year marked a time of transition. The 392nd Army Band now functions as 3 small music performance teams, 2 brass quintets, and 1 rock band. In tonight's pre-show, we proudly feature one of these groups, the Battlefield Brass Quintet. Please welcome these fine musicians to the stage.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks for coming out tonight. That was Hark the Herald Angels Sings, followed by Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. I am Sergeant Stephen Saunders, and we are the Battlefield Brass Quintet of the 392nd Army Band. We're so thankful that you're here today, but I got to get something out here real quick. If you feel the urge to get out your phone, check that Army-Navy score real quick, could you be sure to dim the backlight so they don't disrupt the show? And when Army scores, try to keep the roar to a dull roar. And then Navy, if there's any Navy folks in here, I don't want to hear anything from you, okay? All right. 14 years is too long. We're due. Go Army, beat Navy. So anyways, growing up in West Virginia, I have a lot of fond memories of the holiday season. One of those memories is of my father, who was often recruited by the real Santa Claus to be Santa Claus. And the first time that ever happened, I was probably about 2 or 3, early 80s, and my dad was recruited to be Santa Claus out at the local mall. Well, my mom took me out there to sit on his lap, tell him what I wanted for Christmas, and when we got there, she got scared. She wouldn't let me sit on his lap. She was scared that I might give him away, pull his beard, or just scream because I was terrified that I recognized it was my dad, and he's, dressed kind of like this in a way. But so that was that. He was also the Santa Claus for many local Christmas parades, sitting on the fire truck, throwing out candy canes, yelling out Merry Christmas, ho, 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 and jingling that bell. But my favorite story of my father was, I would think I was a junior or senior in high school, and my dad was the high school band director for over 30 years before he retired. So most of my friends were his students. So he knew everybody I hung out with. So I was at this high school Christmas party, 20 or 30 of us. We hear the doorbell ring, and thinking it's another friend, we go to open it, and there's my father in front of all of my friends, all of my peers, dressed from head to toe in his Santa outfit, screaming, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, throwing candy canes at us, and jingling that bell. Well, you know how it is in high school. You're socially awkward. Everything embarrasses you. I immediately run upstairs and hide in the closet. And I could hear him. He's yelling, ho, ho. He loves to say that every holiday season. He says that. And, I was at the time I was embarrassed. Now, looking back on it, it's a great memory. All my friends still remind me of that. And maybe one day, my 2 children, I'll embarrass them too when they're older as well. Anyways, my parents, who usually come to the show, are actually at the Biltmore right now celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary. So, yeah, thank you. So I'd like to wish them a happy anniversary, and we hope you enjoy this next arrangement of Jingle Bells.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So glad you made it out here today at the Lee Playhouse. My name is Staff Sergeant Blake Helander. I'm originally from San Diego, California. And while we don't have much snow down in Southern California, my family and I shared a lot of very special Christmas memories throughout the year. I'd like to share one of those with you. We had a tradition. Every year, we would start our holiday season the day after Thanksgiving. And we'd mark that occasion by hopping in the family wagon and driving down to the local Christmas tree lot, picking out our live Christmas tree and cutting it down and bringing it back. And we'd put the Christmas music on that day while we trimmed the tree, and that marked the start of our Christmas season. Then one year, it was 1986, we headed over to our local tree lot, as we normally do, and we were approached by a local television news reporter who was doing a story on the average American family picking out their tree. My grandfather had been visiting, he was with us, my sister, my mom and dad. So we were followed around by a television news crew and answered their questions. We picked out our tree and went home and started decorating. Turned on the TV, and sure enough that evening, there was our family on the local news. And my dad rushed over and pressed record on the VCR. By the way, that stands for video cassette recorder if you're under 25. And to this day, as you can see, we have the video recording of that special time. And so that's become a tradition in our families. Each year we'll watch the tape. And my dad even saved the old VCR just so we could watch that one tape. So it's a special memory for us, and with that in mind, we hope you enjoy a swingin' jazz version of O Christmas Tree. One, two, three.
Thank you very much. My name is Corporal Jessica Williams. I'm originally from Newport, Pennsylvania. And our next song is Silent Night. And I relate to this song in a very, very strange way. So I'll try to explain. Back in the right corner is my dad. And my mom's on the left there. And that very cute blonde kid on the bottom left is me. So every year, my parents would take me and my siblings to the Christmas Eve service at our church. And one year, when I was about 11 or 12, we go and we're all dressed up in our nice dresses and our suits, and my brother's not pulling my sister's hair for once during the year, and everybody's being nice to each other because it's Christmas. So we get there and we go to see the nativity scene skit that most churches do every Christmas. And we get there and everybody's being very nice, it's well lit, the Christmas tree's there. And it comes to the last song, which is Silent Night. And you finally get to light the candle you've been waiting to light as a kid the whole time. And so they bring the ushers around, and they light my dad's candle. He's on the right. And I look at him, and he passes the flame down, and nobody sets themselves on fire. But we start singing Silent Night, and they dim the lights, and it's very Christmassy, and it might have even started snowing, I don't know. And I'm singing, and I smell something burning. And I look to my right, and my mother is scowling like only a mother can scowl at my father because he is intentionally singeing the hair off of the back of his hands. I don't know. And to this day, I don't know. So that being said, we all have that one family member, and for me, it's my dad. And they always tend to bring something to laugh about, smile about during the holidays. So I hope you guys appreciate this rendition of Silent Night.
Thank you. I'm Sergeant Zachary Limberis. I'm from just up north in Herndon, Virginia. Growing up, Christmas time was always my favorite time of year. Christmas music, Christmas movies, our traditional trips to go visit Santa Claus as a family, and our matching pajamas that we all wore on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Yeah. The music and the movies specifically were my favorite thing. But in my family, my mom had a rule. The Christmas season did not and would not start until Thanksgiving Day when Santa Claus arrived at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And immediately following, we would watch our first movie, as a Christmas movie as a family, which was It's a Wonderful Life. So anytime I tried to watch a Christmas movie or Christmas music beforehand, my mom would always exclaim, "Hey, it's not time for that." Now, as I've gotten older, I've noticed that the Christmas season tends to start a little earlier and earlier each year. At least it feels for me. Like I was buying Halloween candy this year, and I swear there was a Christmas tree in the aisle next to me. Not sure why. But as those years have gone by, and I've noticed that, I've always pointed out to my mom, "Hey, look, Mom, Christmas stuff." She goes, "It's not time for that." And I always jokingly go, "Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas." So with that in mind, I'd like to dedicate this next song to my mother, who's here on her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. This is It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for coming out and taking time out of your busy football schedule to be here. Appreciate that very much. And before I introduce myself, if you see us out and about on post or out in the community playing, we do not normally have a drummer with us. So I'd like to thank Sergeant Tom Lipscomb back there. He agreed at the last minute. He agreed to do double duty today. You'll be hearing more from him later, but he agreed to come out and help us jazz things up, which is amazing. Well, I am Sergeant Erik Winters. I am a Pennsylvanian by birth, but I'm Alaskan by choice. Thank you. The holiday seasons, the winter time, is absolutely my favorite time of year. If my last name weren't enough to convince you, I plan on retiring to my home in North Pole, Alaska, almost literally Santa Claus's neighbor. It's a true story. Well, Alaska is only one of the far-flung places the Army has sent me. In 2010, I was deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom to Kandahar Airfield in Afghanistan. And I was fortunate while I was there to be able to focus on the mission of an Army band while it's deployed, which is to instill in our forces the will to fight and win, and to promote America's interests abroad. While we were deployed, in order to do that, we partnered with the 205 Corps Afghan National Army Band. They had a little band there, and we partnered with them, and we also played for our international partners throughout Afghanistan. And while we were in Afghanistan, of course, it's kind of Spartan conditions there. We did whatever we could to find a place to rehearse. Any old tent would do. And in fact, our brass quintet got its name the Bunker Brass Quintet because the only place we could rehearse was a bomb shelter right outside the headquarters compound when we first got there. Now, for Christmas that year, we were sent to Forward Operating Base Lagman in Zabul province of eastern Afghanistan, and there were Romanian forces stationed there. And they had improvised an Eastern Orthodox sanctuary that you see up there inside the U.S. chapel. And it really added to the sense of being far from home, and also kind of the sense that we were in the neighborhood of the origins of some of the most important stories of the holiday season. But of course, our mission was mostly to play for our troops while we were there. So in addition to playing church services and chow halls, we helped the Combat Stress Detachment with a bunch of activities for the holidays, and as you can see there were Santa and some elves there as well. So that was a real treat for us. So I'd like to send out this next arrangement to all of those who are far from home this holiday season, especially those in harm's way. Hope you enjoy this arrangement of We Three Kings, and please stick around through a 10-minute intermission while we change scenes and the band presents its rockin' interpretation of The Nutcracker.